Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. So, friendship. I feel like it's impossible to talk about friendship until you've talked about betrayal. You can't talk about friendship until you've talked about betrayal. Because the truth is, many of us have been hurt by other women and we cannot shy away from it. Sometimes we as women, I have to say, we are our own worst enemy. I always wondered why guys seem to be able to hold on to friendships easier and longer than women. It's like guys rarely ever fall out over some dumb shit. It'd have to be pretty serious, and let's be honest, they're not just falling out, they're beefing. Like, they're throwing these hands, like they beefing, right? So I think the reason why women go through it in friendships is because, one, we are emotional creatures by nature, and two, when we let people in close, we really let them in close. We're natural nurturers. Like, I'm not sure if you've ever been around a group of guys who have known each other for a few years, like say since school or whatever. It's like they don't really have that much depth. They kind of bond over kind of mundane things such as, you know, football. The sun must go away because I'm trying to film. I honestly prayed for the sun to come out today so I can film, but now I want it to go away. But yeah, guys tend to bond over kind of like things like football, similar lifestyles, music, and that's about it. But don't get me wrong, there are some guys that I know who do have more deeper connections with friends that are like brothers, or they may have mentors and things like that. So I'm not saying that guys have superficial relationships. However, they really divulge their whole life story to one person. There's been times when I've been around a guy and I am the type of girl, yeah, to be like asking about your childhood, I'm about asking about like deep secrets. Obviously, when you get to know them, I like to get inside their minds. So it's like they'll say, I've never told this to anybody. And I'm just thinking, like, what do you guys talk about when you guys are together? Like, what do you guys even talk about? Like, how does he not even know this? And you're telling me? Like, women, we are very relational by nature. We could literally tell you our life story within hours of meeting you and connecting with you. Let me just say, I don't recommend you doing that, okay? Because trust must be earned. It's not given. It must be earned. It's sunny and it's freaking windy as well. I'm so confused by London right now. But we as women, we just genuinely love to talk, okay? I could sit down with my friends for hours and just talk and talk and talk and talk. It's like we fantasize, we romanticize, we just go away with the theories. We literally let our imaginations take over, you know? That is like a clear difference between guys and girls, by the way. But it's like we connect so fast and we trust so easily. And this is great if the other person has a pure heart. But what if she doesn't? What happens when the one that you've trusted in, invested all of your time, your secrets, everything, turns out to be a fraud and a fake? Let's get into it. So last night I went out to eat with one of my girlfriends and I just started talking about like my friendships during my lifespan and the people that have hurt me, and when I got home I was kind of emotional because it just reminded me of like how much crap I've gone through in relationships and in friendships and things like that. And trust me, I'm not here to play the victim because I own my shit. I know that I have unknowingly and knowingly hurt other people as well. So I'm no angel and life literally does happen to all of us, you know? But I started to get emotional because I've never really taken the time to sit down and to think about what I've actually been through in relationships, in friendship, and like how much I've really put my love on the line and how it hasn't been reciprocated. It hurts like hell. And so I told this story on Instagram the other day. I was always like growing up this naive little girl who called everybody that I met my friend. Like, even if I didn't know you for that long, I would call you my friend. And I really took comfort in believing that I had a lot of friends. But when I got into my 20s, I realized the hard truth that not everybody you call your friend is your friend. And honestly, it took my little heart by storm. It did. I gotta be honest, it did. It really did. And anyone that has siblings knows this to be true. But your sisters are like your first group of friends. Like, they're the ones you spend the most time with. They're the ones that you want to look like. They're the ones you want to dress like. They're the ones that you want to speak like, especially if you're the youngest. Like, you just want to be them. You look up to them. You just want to be them, okay? And I have to be careful with saying this because like I'm not trying to hurt my sister's feelings because I really love them deeply. But the truth is, when I was growing up, Like, I don't feel like I felt supported and seen as the younger sister. Like, thank God the relationship is so much better now. I felt alone like most of my life, because really and truly the bond that I really wanted with my sisters just wasn't there. Like, now I've grown up, I don't blame them. We all had to deal with our own ish, right? So in me feeling so alone, I kind of fill that void with friendships and having friends and knowing a lot of people. I used to just indulge in the fact that everybody liked me. Like, I literally used to indulge in that ideal that ideal that everybody liked me. And in my naivety, I always used to think that 2 + 2 = 4, right? If you are nice to people, people will be nice to you. If you're there for people, people will be there for you, right? Wrong. 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 Lesson numero uno. What you give is not always what you get back. What you give is not always what you get back. So a quick story time. In my late teens, I met this girl at a Christian camp that I used to go to. Like, she came up to me and we just clicked. She was gorgeous, I was gorgeous, and when you're that age, you're pretty shallow, but we did connect because we both love Jesus, right? Like, we just connected, we was on the same wave, we lived near each other, we'd hang out, go to each other's houses, just have fun really. I was even there with her holding her hand when her and her future husband connected, like they locked eyes at this concert. So fast forward, she's engaged to be married, I'm at her house, we're talking about wedding plans, we're writing out who should be invited to the wedding, yada 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 yada. So fast forward a few months, my invitation comes in the post, and then I look at the invitation and it says 6 p.m. and I'm reading it. Bear in mind, like this is my first ever wedding that isn't family, so I didn't know about times and weddings and stuff like that. So I'm reading it and it says 6 p.m. So I call her and I'm like, hey, just got the invitation, how come the wedding's so late? And she's like, oh well, it's like the evening invitation. You know, my family's Greek and we have a really big family, and I possibly couldn't invite everybody to the wedding. I've got like my little cousins and my nieces and stuff like that. Bearing in mind, she's marrying a footballer, okay? So money is not an issue, okay? But she was like palming it off like, oh, but we're still gonna have a really good time. We're gonna have noodles and stuff to eat for the reception guests and all this kind of stuff. And I was just on the phone like, are you joking? Like, is this a joke? Like, are you pranking me? Because is this a joke? And you know what? Initially, I actually thought I was going to be a bridesmaid. Like, that's how deep our friendship was. That's how deep I saw our friendship, right? But when that conversation didn't come up, I was like, okay, maybe it's just for like her close family and her friends that she'd known for years or whatever. I was like, okay, fine, no worries. But when I've been present from you from the moment you met to your wedding plans, to being actually there, making invitations, your bridal shower, all of this stuff, to then say that you can only come to the evening of the wedding, not even to the church where the actual union happens, I was just like, wow, I've never experienced such a hurt before like that. And it was my first real friendship hurt. It was just gut-wrenchingly awful. It was a shock to my system, honestly. And like up until that point, I had never been hurt by someone I considered to be a close friend. And like even her being so blasé about it made me think and question, am I being delusional? Am I being too extra? Like I even asked around people like, am I bugging, or is this like really messed up? And to be honest, I got mixed signal, but it didn't change how I felt. If you feel betrayed, don't deny those feelings. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And no one should try to make you feel like you're being delusional. So from that moment, I kind of just backed away from her a little bit. I was in two minds whether to go to the wedding, but I decided to be a good friend to her, which I still was, and go and support her and her husband on her wedding day. And I mean, it was a bit awkward. The vibe was a bit funny, but I did turn up. I took pictures with her. I danced, and then I went home. Because when I love you, I love you. Never mind what you do or you don't do. When I love somebody, I actually love them, okay? Period. But after that, the relationship was never the same, because I felt like I started to see her for who she was and start to see the relationship for what it was as well. But one thing that I've now learned, and one thing that one of my good friend Michael has taught me, is to redefine friendships. And it's like, you don't have to cut people off or try and change them, but you can change the way you deal with them. And it's like, I've had many other scenarios like that as well. And there was this one girl, oh my god, I so badly wanted more out of that friendship, but she just literally would not let me in. And it's like, we were literally the same people. We like had the similar look, We loved each other, we loved Jesus, we had similar outlooks on life, things like that. But like I said, she just wouldn't invest in our friendship. And it was more so like, oh, do you want to grab a coffee? Do you want to like go for lunch once in a while? Or I'd have a +1 for an event and I'd invite her and we'd go out and we'd have fun. And then that's basically it. It was back to meeting up once in a while. And there'd be times when she'd open up to me about stuff and I feel like, yes, we're finally bonding. Like, surely she will see that I'm such a valuable friend. But nope, it was back to meeting up once in a while. That kind of distant relationship that I really didn't want. And so when I realized that she was never gonna change and give me what I wanted out of that friendship, I just backed away, to be honest. I just stopped expecting anything from her and just kept it casual. And obviously the relationship fizzled out as it does, you know? I wasn't going to force her to see how valuable of a friend I was. I just wasn't going to do it. Which brings me to my first point, redefining friendships. And so there's so many types of different friendships out there. And there's nothing wrong with each of the ones that I'm about to talk about. The problem comes when you don't, from the jump, define what type of friendship or relationship you guys will be having. And you start to expect more from that person than they're actually able to give you. That's where the hurt comes from, really and truly. So for me, there are 3 different types of friendships out there. There may be more, but I feel like all of our friendships should fit into these 3 categories. So the first one is what I like to call your party friends or your good time friends. These are the girls that are fun to be around. When the weekend hits, you know they'll say yes to any motive that comes up. They are the, hey, where the party at kind of girls. But do not expect any form of loyalty from them. These are the type of girls who will date your ex-boyfriend after you've broken up with him. These are the type of girls that when you've confided in them, they will tell your business in a group chat. Yeah, watch out for these ones. They are more like acquaintances rather than your actual friends. Do not expect any loyalty from them. Do not open up and share your deepest, darkest secrets. Just stick to what they know best, having a good, funky time, right? The second group I would like to say are your convenient friends. They may be colleagues that you see every day. They may be church friends. They may be tennis club friends. They may be your business partners. They may support your dreams and vice versa. You may have the same values, interests, and goals. You may not see them all the time, but there is definitely a connection there. But remember, just because you have a connection there does not mean that there is a bond. Your relationship is quite transactional, it's convenient, and it makes sense. However, even though you can and you may be tempted to open up with them fully, you must do so wisely and with precaution. Because at the end of the day, connection can easily be broken or disconnected. And you must remember that once something is shared, it cannot be unshared. There's no undo button with your mouth. Okay, once you have spoken something, once you have shared a secret, it's now out there. Okay, that person now has your information, so always be careful with that. And so these friends may actually love you, but it's a very surface type of love. And yes, these friendships can develop into the third group, which is what I'm going to talk about in a second. However, it takes a conscious effort, but you both must be willing to invest in that next level of friendship. It takes time, it takes vulnerability, and it takes selflessness, which most people in this generation have no time for. So the third and final category is your ride or dies. And I think that term is very, very fitting. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to love. And I've been thinking about it so much that I'm going to make a separate video on it. Jesus said, there is no greater love than this, that a man laid down his life for his friends. Deep. You don't really love your friends until you're willing to take a bullet for them, until you're willing to jump in front of a train for them. That sacrificial love is the mark of true, genuine friendship. So what are your ride or dies like? And by the way, you may only have 1 or 2 of these in your lifetime. 3 if you're really blessed, but 1 or 2 of these close type of friendships. Okay, this type of friend loves you. No, like really loves you. Those type of friends that are no longer just friends, they're like family. They're like sisters to you. If you need them, they're not thinking twice. They will be with you faster than lightning, literally. They will drop everything they are doing just to make sure that you are okay. And so why would they do this? Because they know that you'll do the exact same thing for them. There is such a trust there that you're not even holding back your love for them. Like, imagine being in a relationship or a friendship where you don't have to hold back your love for them and you could really just authentically give because you know it's going to be received back from them. But please remember this, trust is built over time like roots. Every time you go through something and overcome it, those roots get deeper and deeper and deeper and longer and wider. And do you know how hard it is to pull up a tree that has been planted for 15, 20 years? Roots so thick and so strong, it's not easy to pluck up. And that is what a solid friendship looks like. The love is too deep to just throw it away, which is why, like I said before, having a connection is great, but having a bond is even better. A bond is really what secures a relationship, because a connection can be disconnected with just one trip. It's like a plug socket. You plug a plug socket into the wall. You trip over that plug is coming all the way out, and that connection is lost. That connection is shut off, which, to be honest, is why I'm slightly against this whole cut-off culture. Like, girls will have one disagreement with you and say, F you. They will literally be like, forget this. You are a weak person. I'm just saying, you are weak. Or worse yet, someone's pissed at you because of something you did, but they haven't told you what you've done, but you literally just feel those icy vibes. And it's like, I wish that we could just be mature enough to open the mouths God gave us and tell people what the issue is. I strongly believe that most things that occur in everyday friendships can be resolved. The reason why relationships, friendships are so hard is because you got two imperfect people trying to get along, and so sparks are bound to fly. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And most of the things that happen aren't even about you. I feel like people are entitled to behave how they behave without you making it all about you. For example, I got a message from someone that said, oh, I'm getting married soon and my bridesmaid's acting a little bit funny. And I said to her, take her out for lunch and ask her, are you okay? Because what some people forget, especially brides in weddings, that the bridesmaids may actually really genuinely be happy for you, but sometimes these things bring up emotions in the bridesmaids. It may not be anything negatively towards you, but it's just how they're feeling. So instead of being like, oh, I'm going to cut this person off, give her the benefit of the doubt. Give her some care. Sometimes the bridesmaids go unnoticed in weddings. Like, trust me, I've been a bridesmaid, okay? And you just check up on them. Don't make assumptions. Don't be quick to be like, ah, she's jealous of me. It's not always the case. People are entitled to feel how they feel without you making it about yourself. So don't always take things personally. That's first. And I know this is hard to digest, especially for someone like me that is such a sensitive little squirrel. Sensitive little squirrel. But what I'm saying is communication is so sexy. Like, literally, it turns me on, okay? I love a good, clear, honest communication. Give me the benefit of the doubt to ask me about it before you come up with this villain narrative in your head about me. The villain narrative that you've created about me. Give me a chance to defend that, because you may actually be very wrong. Never assume, always ask questions. So when should you cut off a friend? Because I do believe in cutting off people, okay? There's sometimes you must and you have to cut off someone. When is it okay to cut off a friend? And for me, personally, my rule is 3 strikes and you're out. And when I mean 3 strikes, I mean, like, if you do something and I tell you about it and I don't like it, I tell you how it makes me feel, and you do it again, and I tell you about it, and then you do it again, it's 3 strikes and you're out. Because that's showing me that there's actually a character flaw there. It's probably something that you're doing unaware, but it's a serious character flaw. And I have the right to say whether I can put up with that, and if I want to be friends with that type of person. And I know, I hear some of you guys saying, but didn't Jesus say you should forgive someone 70 times 7? But let me make this clear, okay? And this is probably going to free somebody, okay? There's a difference between forgiving somebody and letting them stay around you. Forgiving someone and keeping somebody in your life are 2 complete different things. I can forgive you and still choose not to be around you. Still choose not to be friends with you. That is my right of choice as a human being. I'm allowed to do that. And you're allowed to do that too, without feeling guilty that, oh, I haven't forgiven them. My heart is pure. I forgive you. I don't hate you, but I'm not gonna let you stay around to keep abusing my trust. I love you, but I must respect myself more. So before I move on to how to actually make friends, I think I wanna touch quickly on friendship breakup, because truthfully, it's just as hard, if not harder or more difficult than breaking up with a guy. Trust me, especially if you have to see them every single day or every week. It can get a bit tricky, but trust me, it does get easier. And one of the things I want to say is try your hardest to maintain a level of respect for them, because you actually was friends with them before. So that shouldn't change. Don't go around talking about them or spreading their secret. I think that's just the ugliest thing to do, and karma's gonna come back round for you. Maintain their privacy the same way you want them to maintain yours. And I know this can be hard to do, especially when you're the one that's been hurt in a friendship, but don't go stalking them on social media. If you need to, mute them, block them, unfollow them, whatever you need to do to protect yourself, to protect your heart. Because it can be hard to see them hanging out with their other friends and enjoying life and acting like their life is so great. Like most things on social media, it's all an act. So if you need to block them, unfollow them, mute them to protect your heart, then do so. You have to treat the breakup like an actual romantic breakup. And I'm going to make a video on how to get over your ex next week, so make sure you guys subscribe. So when I told you guys about the topic that I was speaking about, which was friendship, you guys sent me so many questions, and the most common question was how to make new friends. And I was so surprised at how many people say that they don't have any friends, and it made me feel so sad, because having friends is like one of the most beautiful things about life. It's such a happy part about being alive, and I feel like if I didn't have friends, I would probably be in and out of toxic relationships trying to get my love tank filled that way, or I would just be a recluse. I would just isolate myself. So I don't want you guys to do that. So let's get into this. Now, let me not lie to you. Making new friends is really, really tough, especially as you get older. It's difficult because everyone has their backs up. People are not as open as they were when they were 3 years old or even 13. We're grown now. We have been hurt. Our guards are up. We are very precautious. However, the basis of making a new friend is shared experience. Like, don't be afraid to try something new. Get out of your comfort zone. The same way you can't expect to meet a man staying at home in your comfort zone, the same way you can't expect to make new friends if you don't do something different. Like, you really have to put yourself out there. Check out my fear video if you have not watched it. There's always something happening, okay? Especially if you live in a busy city like London, okay? There's always something to do. Like a quick search on eventbrite.com, there's an event for literally everything. Networking, relationships, there's an event for everything. These are times and these are places and spaces where you can actually meet some really great people. However, if that seems like too much for you at first, I would recommend joining a Facebook group. And I know Facebook is a bit 2004. However, I only use Facebook for the purpose of the groups. I'm in a few women's groups on Facebook, and it literally makes life so much easier, and it's even better that people are anonymous, to be honest, and you don't really know them. So either way, thumbs up if you would want me to create a group for us, because I think YouTube comments is great, but I really, my heart's desire is to build a community of women where we can all talk, and it's not only me talking, but it's us sharing ideas, bonding, supporting each other. And I feel like Facebook is a really good place to do that. So thumbs up and comment if I should make a group for all of us. And we need a name. I need a name for you guys. So comment a name, and if you would join my Facebook group. Everyone has Facebook. Facebook is free. You don't have to be on it for any other reason than this group. So let me know if that's something I should do, because I'll only do it if you guys want it, okay? Thirdly, take up a hobby. Me personally, I love to dance, and I really want to join a hip-hop class, but I just don't have much time right now. But it's on my to-do list. I want to join a hip-hop class. But if that's not your thing, try tennis, try netball, try badminton, try kickboxing, try rock climbing. My mum is part of a group that do Nordic walking, and it's like a group of 50+ women. They go out in the forest and they do Nordic walking, and she does that every Thursday. And like, my mum genuinely feels happier after that. I feel like we all need a group of people just to like be with and hang with, and you never know, you may actually meet a friend for life there. And to be honest, you have a better chance at making friends if you go and do things you actually enjoy doing. You may not gain a new best friend, but finding friends for different interests in your life at different stages can be really positive. But always remember that friendships grow with investments. Go out and try some activities and talk to people. If it doesn't work, try another one. Finally, you're never going to find friends unless you are first friendly. So open up yourself, work on yourself, do your inner work so that you attract the right kind of energy, the right kind of people to you. The way that I see working on yourself, you become a magnet, okay? You just have to show up. You won't even have to force friendships. You just show up and naturally people will be drawn to you. That's the beautiful thing about being a really actualized woman. Really working on yourself, knowing yourself and valuing yourself. You become very attractive, not just to men, but to friendships. People want to be around you and you will attract people that are on your level. If you find yourself you're not attracting people that are on your level, maybe you got to check yourself. Maybe you got to check what level you're actually really on, because sometimes we like to play ourselves. I'm telling you, we like to play ourselves. And for those of you who have really good friends, I want to encourage you to continue to invest in them. Try not to be selfish. Try not to throw away people. Try not to treat people like they're disposable. Like, stay and work out your ish if you can. If you can't, leave peacefully. Try and leave people better than you found them. That's one of my mottos in life. Try and leave people better than you found them. No love lost. If it doesn't work out, fine. It's okay. It's actually going to be okay. Life does not have to be dramatic and friendships do not have to be hard. Let's just all do our best to play our position. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you guys and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up, never let me down, never let me down. Let me up, let me up, let me up, never let me drown. Our friends, real friends, better than your friends, yeah. That's how we keep popping out that bitch, yeah.